Jennie, born in Korea but moved to New Zealand. She's super clear, her opinions, her emotions. She's a perfectionist.
Based on this brief description of her character, I can't help but wonder whether we have discovered an introvert, or at least someone who is very in tune with her own thoughts and feelings. But let's not generalize too hastily. After watching a few of her videos, I can see why her producer Teddy Park describes her as a perfectionist. She spends a lot of time making sure everything is just right, prioritizing quality above quantity. She displays many traits and behaviors typical of an introvert. She's shy and can seem somewhat unemotional and detached from reality at times. She seemingly turns on and off her levels of expressiveness, especially when in public situations, which I attribute to her being highly social and emotional aware. I won't sugarcoat it. Finding authentic personal information about Jennie was the greatest challenge when doing this first personality analysis. Jennie is in fact an extremely reserved and shy personality. The online users of personality database seem to be highly split between the ISFP and INFP personality types, so let's see how I can reach a solid conclusion. I think that it is normal for people to have difficulty in reaching a consensus of how to identify Jennie's true personality type because of how subjective and differentiated the multiple typology systems and their interpretations can be. Perhaps I should apply the Myers-Briggs type indicator? I could do exactly that, but most people think their definitions are a bit oversimplified and biased. Using only 8 dichotomies doesn't help either. In my personal opinion, it's too vague and open-handed. Maybe I should try to identify her main cognitive functions. But before doing that and starting debates on what is what, let's first make an effort to be a little more consistent with our definitions. After all, there are a lot of variations of the original theory, and in reality, we now have a handful of different theories and systems, each pushing their own agendas to some extent. So, I decided to start narrowing down her possible personality type by applying some of the most noticeable small groups categories used in socionics, a theory system based on Carl Jung's work. I began by identifying Jennie's communication and social interaction styles, a topic that has also been addressed in MBTI, primarily through Linda Barron's work. Soulful communication style, geared towards deep connections with a small number of close individuals. Softness and tactfulness, especially in interactions with strangers. Speech is slow but rich in intonation. Sensitivity in the realm of subtle feelings and aesthetics. Sentimentality. Does not aspire to leadership, usually content with a follower's position. In both Korean and English, Jennie's calm and clear speaking intonation stood out as her signature speech pattern. She strives for the highest level of politeness most of the time, and occasionally her interview answers reveal a certain softness and genuine sensitivity.
That I get really shy when I'm speaking English and when I'm doing interviews. I don't think people realize how nervous I am inside, and I'm actually literally shaking inside, but yeah, try to keep it cool.
She's also an ace when it comes to aesthetics, without a doubt. She is very deliberate on how she presents herself, focusing much energy on refining, maintaining, and creating a unique aesthetic style that fits her personal tastes. Because she can be incredibly secretive, literally, it was somewhat challenging for me to uncover some personal information on most of her videos. It is also rare to find other analyses of her personality online, so I wasn't able to compare and contrast either. However, this time it was simple to choose the small group that better fits her interaction style. Secretive, interaction style, drawn to solitude and psychologically resilient to it. Skilled at hiding intentions and true self in society. Often aspires to be the power behind the throne. Firstly, she thoroughly enjoys being alone, and she confidently admits this fact on multiple occasions. A genuine introvert with limited social engagement and reserves of energy.
So the song, it's called Solo. So when you're by yourself, what sort of things do you get up to?
It's actually very embarrassing. I don't do much when I'm on my own. I hang out with my dogs.
That's doing something.
Yeah, I like to just stay at home with my family, eat something nice. Strawberries in season in Korea, so these days, that's my go-to every day. And just relax, just rest. from everything. When I have any free time, I think I rest and just try to relax at home.
She also appears to consciously avoid bringing her personal life into the public eye. Even her YouTube Vlogs channel is somewhat detached from her personal life, feelings, and opinions. She is generally surrounded by her friends or business partners, yet she manages to blend into the background and make circumstances appear neutral and impersonal. She's being herself with her group of trusted people, while showing her audience the least amount of personal information possible. These two small groups used in socionics, which correlate closely with the behind-the-scenes interaction style, have already filtered her type down to one of the introverted feelers, particularly those who value extroverted sensing, and I'll explain why in just a moment. So, using the socionics system, we have reached a point where the only possible types are the INFP and ISFJ, which correspond to the INFJ and ISFP personality types in MBTI, respectively. These two types are reserved and secretive, and because they also value extroverted sensing, they feel compelled to create and maintain strict boundaries to protect their privacy. They are honest and sincere with those they grant access to their inner life. Now I've reached a stage where I need to delve deeper into the theory and dichotomies to differentiate between these two types. From first impressions alone, Jennie displayed numerous signs of being part of the social communicative club. Social communicative, attention to appearance, one's own, other people's, and objects, notices even minor changes in appearance. Skilled in selecting clothes and accessories. Good appetite for food. Shows hospitality to guests. Practical care for loved ones. Enjoys service sector professions, likes conversing with people on everyday topics. When it comes to charisma and wit in social situations, this pop star and fashion icon is definitely someone to look up to. Even in the most invasive settings, like exposure on social media, she has an innate sense of how to present herself to the world and how to deliberately show off her amazing sense of aesthetics. But more importantly, there were clear signs that Jennie belonged to the aggressor romance style. Aggressor woman. Constantly tries to compete with men, including in erotic relations. Prone to irony, mocking the opposite sex. Likes to feel more competent than a man in any matter. Expects flattery, apparent weakness, and emotional instability from a man during love play. In my opinion, she is a type who has extroverted sensing as a conscious and valued function of the ego, one of her main functions, which makes her an ISFJ personality type.
Does anyone have any idea for Lisa's birthday present? I was planning on giving her a big slap in her face, and I'm kidding.
Despite being a person that prefers to blend into the background, introverted and shy, she also has moments where she shows determination, assertiveness, and a playful, or not, aggressive bite to her words and humor.
유학파야. I used to live in New Zealand for 5 years. So.
For 5 years?
Yeah.
Did you study English?
I mean, of course, I lived there. I didn't really have to study. So.
So which city did you live in?
Do you know any cities in New Zealand?
Wellington, Christchurch?
Jennie also shows some aversion or weak usage of intuition on multiple occasions, which made me doubt about the possibility of her being an intuitive type. To better comprehend Jennie's typing, let's look at how socionics can help us classify and describe the most noticeable dichotomies in ISFJ, taking into account some theoretical and rather abstract patterns that allow us to recognize similarities and differences between people. Introversion. She personifies introversion, and I don't think anyone misread her. Even on her personal YouTube channel, she exudes an aura of reservedness and lack of expression, which is reflected in her generally calm and detached interactions with the outside world. She obviously prioritizes quality above quantity in most facets in her life, and she is also somewhat reserved and passive, despite being able to be more assertive and forceful at will. Based on what we know about Jennie's personality, she also finds it easy to spend long periods of time in no activity, or even at low levels of energy. Sensory. Jennie is very concrete. She seems to gather her perceptions of information from the real world, using her sensations in general. She is a realist that shows almost no signs whatsoever of speculative thinking, and in all the videos watched for this analysis, I have never noticed her talking about abstract meanings or symbols or playing with intuitive perceptions of the world. She keeps it real most of the time and shows a great attraction to create and maintain convenience and comfort for herself and her surroundings.
향이 너무 좋아. 이것 또한 제 심신 안정을 위해 제가 하는 것 중 하나예요. 그래서 이거는 사실 해외 나갈 때도 꼭 들고 가는 편이에요. 그래서 어딜 가던 저는 이동을 계속 하니까 집에서 멀어진 느낌이 많다 보니까 같은 향이 계속 나면 좋더라고요.
Decisive or central. On many occasions, I've noticed how Jennie comes alive by consciously taking control of the situation, becoming active in order to take decisive actions and promote her interests. Despite the fact that Blackpink does not have an official leader, Jennie appears to fill that role on numerous occasions just by utilizing her attitude or acting with assertiveness. And have you noticed how competitive Jennie can be? That's right. She transforms regular shopping trips into games. She always mentions the competition that she faced while discussing her trainee days, and she absolutely comes alive when she appears on game shows like Apartment 404.
왜 리더가 없어? 원래 보통 팀에는 리더가 하나씩
대변해주고.
그러니까 우리가 약간 각자 잘하는 부분이 있어가지고 그래서 담당이 있으니까 나는 춤을 잘 추니까 나는 뭐 댄스 관련돼서 내가 담당을 하고 이제 뭐 제니 언니는 뭐 나서서 뭐 이렇게 막 하는 것도 하고
회사에 불만이나 뭐 이런 거 요구사항 있으면 제니가 주로 다 얘기를 해?
어떻게 알았어?
I also noticed on multiple occasions Jennie being aggressive in reality, perhaps showing her true self straightforwardly in public situations when she shouldn't. As a result, after analyzing all that was shown in this video with the socionics systems, categories, and tools, I was able to determine that Jennie is an ISFJ personality type, which corresponds to an ISFP on the Myers-Briggs type indicator, if you correlate on a cognitive function basis. Let's now dive into a brief description of how this type uses their conscious and valued ego functions, introverted feeling and extroverted sensing, and see the parallels with our favorite pop and fashion icon. First and leading function, introverted feeling. Focus on personal integrity and character strength. Motivated by personal convictions and a sense of obligation to protect against evil. Judgmental, forming firm opinions and judgments based on actions and behaviors. Assesses the quality of their connection with people based on shared values and trustworthiness. Adjusts closeness in relationships based on noticeable character traits. In relationships, know how to keep an appropriate distance from others. Aims to form stable, reliable bonds with intimate and trustworthy individuals. Emphasizes personal loyalty, kindness, and selflessness towards their loved ones. Can be prickly and resistant to those who betray their trust. Create inner stability by building connections with reliable people and keeping outsiders at arm's length. Second and creative function, extroverted sensing. They possess a steely nature and are able to enforce their convictions and values with determination. They are not afraid to confront others, focusing on fighting morally wrong behavior. Their close friends' involvement frequently influences their conflicts. Despite preferring to be in the background, they can be good leaders in matters that interest them, knowing who can help them achieve their goals. They often challenge others to follow or adhere to their values and ideals, highly valuing loyalty. They treat harm to their loved ones more seriously than to themselves, tending to protect those they care about from wrongdoers without a second thought. They often have harsh character judgments, scathingly evaluating a person's weak and undesirable traits. Does this personality type fit Jennie's character and behavioral patterns? Leave your opinion and feedback on the comments section down below, and we'll see each other again on the next personality analysis video. Thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this.